Terramar is Ghislaine Maxwell's weird organization that the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation was giving her tons of money to do. But what the fuck is Terramar? Well, I have never understood it. It's never made sense to me. It's never... I've listened to Ghislaine try to explain it many times. Here's another time that she's explaining it. So let's see if this is the time that we get it. So I just want to explain Terramar a little bit. She goes on a little thing about how she got the idea. She was traveling the world with her husband, Ted Waits. So he took all the parts of the ocean that was close to the land, so within 200 miles. And so I decided I would focus on all the parts of the ocean that were outside of national borders. Terramar. And that's how that's the genesis of Terramar. So, okay, sounds like her and her ex-boyfriend split custody of the ocean. She's a bad liar and she's stupid. This is my the vibe I get from Ghislaine. Like she likes to say like, oh, I'm smart, I'm educated, I'm very, very intelligent person. I have a British accent. Oh, I'm very posh. Oh, my family was very wealthy and through embezzled funds when I was growing up. So I'm actually quite smart. And I only enjoy hanging out with other smart people. But like, she seems kind of stupid, you know? I do get that vibe from her. I think she's like charming. I think she has like, a certain kind of emotional, social intelligence maybe. Now she starts talking about how she was the interior decorator and she never saw a single camera. So they're talking about blackmail. You have to have something to say when you go to the intelligence organization. You have to have something to say, hey, look, I've got this video of you doing terrible things and you need to whatever. So I built those houses, many of them. I decorated those houses. I put the electricians in for the wiring. I never wired nor saw a single house that had any type of inappropriate, let's say, video surveillance. Now, here's the funny thing here. There have been rumors and people have talked about there being cameras in like Epstein's massage rooms, bathrooms, bedrooms in his mansions, in all of his properties. There have been rumors about this for years. In his Palm Beach one, we know there were cameras because the police themselves set them up there to help Epstein catch Juan Alessi stealing from him. This was a big thing. Apparently there were things, but Ghislaine Maxwell, who is her fucking story now is, I'm the one, I didn't know anything about this massaging thing that was going on. I wasn't helping with that. I wasn't trained, like contrary to what all these women have said, I did not train all these young girls how to properly please Jeffrey Epstein sexually. I didn't do any of that. I was just the interior decorator. And she's like, I was the decorator. I would have seen a camera. Well, this interview was done on July 25th. And on August 5th, New York Times posted a article just like 10 days after this interview took place, or 11 days or something, where we finally have a photograph of a camera. There it is. Look at this. Camera. Caught in 4K. Caught in 4K. There's a camera, and this is in the bedroom. And there's another photo of another camera, too. Very funny that she said that. Just bad timing. She's like, absolutely not. No camera ever even entered the premises. Immediately after New York Times is like, now we found one. They ask her about Prince Andrew, and she's like, he's innocent. He never did a thing. If you'd ever known him, he's a perfect little butterfly puppy dog, or whatever. And with respect to Virginia and Prince Andrew, what do you know about that relationship? What's an even bigger word than bullshit? But finish that thought. Why do you think that? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm so happy to tell you. I'm like excited. I'm beyond excited. So the allegation, I have to go with the allegation. The allegation was that at my house in London in March, whenever that was, 2001, I believe, we went to London, especially so that Virginia could have a relationship with Prince Andrew, and she was paid a vast amount of money for that purpose. Okay, and then that she got in my bathroom in my house in London and had sexual relations with him and then went into my guest room and had full-blown sex and then left my house. Or he left, and she felt used and disgusting. And a photograph was taken of them just before all these events took place in my study. That is what is the story. Oh, and then after that, she met him several other times. But we'll come to that. This is where it allegedly started. And then her lawyer interrupts. And they went to Tramp, right? Went to dinner and then to Tramp. Blah, 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 blah. She thinks that this couldn't have happened because it was her mom's birthday. Second reason why Prince Andrew's innocent, I think it's absolute rubbish, is that Prince Andrew, the idea of him doing anything of that nature in my house, it's the size of this room, is so mind-blowingly not conceivable to me. As the man, or what, I can't even, no. David Marcus, that's Ghislaine's lawyer. Is there any way that it could have happened? No. David Marcus. Okay. Leah Safian, another one of Ghislaine's lawyers. Describe the physical pain. So you can tell this is something that like the lawyers have planned this out, right? The lawyers have been like prepping this. They've been making sure this is your chance to get out your side of the story here. This is not a trial. There aren't going to be cross-examinations. This is a chance for you to just spew bullshit. Just say your side of the story. And here is exactly all the points you need to hit. And you can tell sometimes she sort of misses things. Oh, you forgot to mention the nightclub. Oh, you forgot to mention this. You forgot to mention the physical pain. And then she'll go, oh, yes, the physical pain. So my house was tiny. I think it's 900 square feet in total. So maybe, is that right? Maybe 9? Leah Safian, yes, that's right. 900 square feet in total. It is on 3 floors, however. Okay. It used to be a stable for a horse. It was a stable for the big house. It was a little poor man's home behind the rich man's home. It's a jewel. So it's like her family has like a mansion, and then there's like a servant's quarters nearby that Ghislaine turned into her apartment. A poor man's home behind the rich man's home is how she describes it. Okay, so you're probably picturing like a little tiny cramped little house and a little tiny cramped little bathroom, right? Where she says that they had relations in the bathroom. First of all, the bath is an old Victorian bath. Okay, what, you can't like assault somebody if there's a antique piece of furniture in the room? Like, what does that mean? I'm quite small. It's tight for me. I put my brother in there to see what would happen. Weird way to put that. And it looks like a blivet, which is a sausage in like a very tight skin. What? What, your brother looks like a sausage? What are you talking about? So her description of whatever the two people were doing in the tub, that wouldn't work. The bathroom itself is so small, you can't lie flat on the floor. So it couldn't happen on the floor because you physically can't. This bathroom is too small to even be on the floor. Okay, so good point, DM Collins. We should make sure that we are aware of this. Virginia Giuffre just recently passed away. So she is not even around to defend herself. And Ghislaine spends a large portion of both days of the interview just shitting on her legacy, saying she's wrong, saying she's a liar, saying she's whatever, which is weird because if she was lying, you think she would have been able to prove it in court and she wouldn't be in prison right now. And also that's just one of the women who's accused Ghislaine of unspeakable acts. Okay. So you're probably like, you picture what you think Ghislaine's talking about here, a tiny, tiny bathroom, a tiny, tiny bath that you could not possibly commit any assault in. By the way, I don't know if I have it here, but Virginia's version of events, without going into detail here, I believe Virginia just said he started in the bathroom and then we moved into the bedroom and he continued to assault me. Like, she doesn't even say like any specific thing happened that you would need a lot of space for. But all that aside, this is what Ghislaine thinks is going to prove to people that Virginia was lying. Are you ready? Well, here we go. So back in 2023, I think? 2023, Ghislaine Maxwell's brother Ian posted this creepy ass photo of himself and a girl in the bathroom at Ghislaine's house he is wearing a mask of Prince Andrew's face, and she is wearing the face of Virginia Giuffre from the famous photo from like Ghislaine's house. Apparently it was taken like right before this took place. Now, like, that is not, first of all, is that a Victorian tub? That does not look like a Victorian tub. That looks like, I don't know, does not look that fancy. I mean, I guess it's got like crown molding or something on the side, but like, I was picturing like some kind of tub with like claw legs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that just looks like your average, like, you know, shitty apartment, like tub that your landlord gets. Yeah. Like, that's a big tub. That's actually a big tub, Ghislaine. She's acting like it's like the tiniest tub. And I mean, like, Virginia's fucking testimony, he started assaulting me in the bathroom and then we moved into the bedroom. I think that was it. But even if it was, like, I've had sex in smaller tubs than that. Like, I'm not saying it's comfortable, but like, this is not a fucking, like, you know, she doesn't have Virginia exactly dead to rights here. Like, this does not prove anything. Like, even the son here is like, this is the bizarre stunted picture Prince Andrew hopes will scrub clean his tarnished reputation. No, man, not at all. So so all the reasons why this couldn't happen was, number one, it was her mom's birthday that weekend. Not really sure why that means that this couldn't have happened. Number two, Prince Andrew is like a sweet guy who would never do anything. Number three, the tub is too small. No, it's not. It's big. It's a big tub. And number four, this is number four, the kicker of all kickers. Ready for this? This is the kicker of all kickers. The kicker of all kickers is that because the bathroom was so small, I decorated it to try to make it look huge, which meant I put mirrors the whole way around it. As you can see, there are mirrors there. Okay. To you, this is a small bathroom. So I guess you put mirrors because you felt insecure. And what was so fun about being in there is that if you stood in the bathroom, you saw like 100 of you, like you do if you were in David Marcus, a fun house. Like apparently this was a line that her lawyers were like, make sure you hit that, make sure you say it was like a fun house. Yeah, well, Alice in Wonderland are one of those things that you'd see yourself going, stretching everything. And the image, if you said let's say that Virginia was telling the truth, she could say that she was with 5,000 generations of the royal family because that's how far back you could see yourself. What? Wait, what? Why? What are you talking about? There is no way in God's green earth, if that had taken place, that this is something you would miss because you couldn't miss it. So she's upset that, or she's saying that because Virginia didn't mention the weird way that she'd chosen to decorate the bathroom, that means that it didn't happen. Like, why would Virginia mention that? Why is that important to her story? It's not. If you were standing there, you'd see the FBI, the whole Department of Justice standing behind you. It's like, no. Also, I don't even understand what she's talking about there. The FBI, the Department of Justice standing behind you? What? That part I don't get. Todd Blanche, did you, Guylain's lawyer? And also, let me just also explain where the tap was in the bathtub. Oh, well, it's an old, and I'm not even going to get into it. But okay, I got a photo of the full bathroom. Are you ready to see this like tiny bathroom, like this tiny poor man's home bathroom that Guylain says like there isn't even enough room to sexually assault somebody in? Like there isn't even enough room to like begin sexually assaulting someone in this bathroom. Ready? Ready for it? This is it. This is the tiny bathroom. This is the tiny bathroom. Like, I'm sorry. It's got a shower in it. It's got like a, like a towel rack / I don't know, grab on with your hand. Like this bathroom is huge. There's so much room in it. I just like, I don't understand what she is trying to say here. And yes, Rod, Martha's Vineyard really is a haunted island of the royal damned. What the fuck? To Guylain, this is a small bathroom, which I mean, I get it if you've been living in like the fucking old Iranian embassy and like Les Wexner's like massive homes and all these huge fucking opulent places that Epstein took her to. I'm sorry, Guylain, I'm sorry to tell you this. This is a big room. Like, you can't even fully see how big it is, but like you can see at least like it's at least the like depth of a bathtub. It's at least the depth of a bathtub, right? This is like at least its depth, right? And then along this direction, it's like, oh yeah, there's like at least room for like, the bathtub's kind of sunken into the wall or whatever there it looks like. And then there you've got the cabinet and then you've got the toilet. And the toilet, there's so much room around it. Like I have a bathroom that is like just this, like not even the full length of the toilet here. It's like way smaller than that. Way smaller than that. Anyway, I'm offended by that she thinks that this is a small bathroom. Yeah, no, true, Mickey. I've seen bigger, but that's as big as both bathrooms at my parents' place combined. Yeah, like this is a big bathroom. She's been insanely rich her whole life. Rich people, eh? We should look at this. I believe this is an interview. What did Virginia say here? Miss Giuffre, also this is written in such a gross way, but Miss Giuffre claimed she and Andrew frolicked in a Victorian-style bath at Guylain's Muse house in posh Belgravia, March 2001. But now the Maxwell family protests that the tub is too small to have sex in. Last night, Miss Giuffre's friends blasted. They're having too much fun with this. This is the best Maxwell's side can do in defense of Prince Andrew. It's laughable. It's a disgusting attempt to discredit a victim of sexual abuse. It would be risible, if it were not so offensive. Says, what a surreal, bizarre photograph. It proves nothing. Virginia said that she and Andrew were in the bath. The photo shows that two full-size humans can fit in the bath. Virginia, yeah, like the photo are two people in a bath. Like, what do they think that proves? Like, these people are delusional. Like, they live in their own world. No one would ever be convinced by that. Anyway, yes, okay, Lisa Bloom says, Virginia said that she and Andrew then moved into the bedroom where the sexual activity occurred. Nothing in the photo disproves that. Okay, did you ever see an underage girl go into a massage room with Mr. Epstein? No. Okay, did you ever see, the same thing. If you'd seen that, what would you have done? Would you have left? Oh, I can't even imagine what I would have done. All right, I'm sorry. No, that's okay. Okay, you're not talking about something that's sexual. You're just talking about literally just rubbing his feet? Yes. Okay. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, okay, what they could be that sometimes the women might be topless who are giving that. So you could say that was sexual in that context. And it's like, what? Excuse me? Like, I mean, this is now an erotic massage, right? That's how I would describe it. I guess for Guylaine, this doesn't rise to the level of being sexual, but I don't know. I certainly would say. But Todd is also like, no, that's not sexual. So this is interesting. They're talking about, Todd Blanche is like, what about photos of all these celebrities and famous people with young girls or videos of them? And she's like, don't exist, never seen them. Well, what about just like photos of these underage girls naked? And she's like, oh yeah, no, I've seen those. So right now I'm talking about photographs of victims or photographs of women that Mr. Epstein had on his computer or wherever he had them. Did you know that those photos existed before you got them in Discovery? Ghislaine Maxwell, oh, some of them absolutely, because they were in his house. Some of these pictures were on his, credenza or whatever. Interesting that she chose not to lie about that, but I guess, it would be hard to. And that corroborates this Virginia Giuffre quote from her lawsuit against Maxwell from some point when they were suing each other for defamation. Virginia had said, if you walked foot into Jeffrey Epstein's house and you went in there and you continued to be an acquaintance of his, you would have to know what was going on there. I would say the first time they came to Epstein's home, there is nude pictures everywhere. These are photographs of salacious acts of girls, young girls, doing things to each other that would be considered, I don't think I can say this, I'm just going to say CP. But that was just how he decorated his house. This guy's a weirdo. Guylaine makes a case for her own innocence here. Let's see what Guylaine's case for her own innocence is. I just want to say, for the record, I do believe that Mr. Epstein did a lot of, not all, but some of what he's accused of. I'm not here to defend him in any respect whatsoever. I don't want to, and I don't think he requires nor deserves any type of protection or from me in any way to sugarcoat what he did or didn't do. So there's that. Okay, great. Now, Here's the move. Here's the fucking spin. However, the man that I met and the man he became, I believe there is a progression. I don't think that the man I met is the man that he became. I believe he became that man over a period of time. And now we can discuss everything you want, and I'll tell you anything I know, but I think somebody who has an interest, however you define that, in underage people, is obviously somebody who is unwell. David Marcus, her counsel, her lawyer, interrupts her, and she goes, and he's kind of like, Guylaine, before you get into all that, like he's like, clearly, like this part that Guylaine is saying is like something that she's prepared, something that her and her lawyers have like, here is how you pitch it. You're gonna say Epstein seemed really chill when you knew him in the 90s, and he only got weird in the 2000s when you stopped hanging out so much. That's what you're gonna say. But she does it at a very weird point. It's not an organic shift. She just suddenly is like, and I just want to state for the record that I think, and then, so he interrupts her here. Guylaine, before you get into all that, let's answer the top line question and then get into that. And the top line question is, and it's about the people that she's named. Did you ever see any of them with underage women? No, never saw anyone. No. Blanche asks, did Jeffrey Epstein encourage his clients, the people on the list, to share his women/girls? Guylaine says, yes, but only women these are people who were in their 20s and 30s. I think in the 90s, he may have encouraged them. Oh, do you want a massage? I have a masseuse. These are people who are in their 20s and 30s, which we know is not the case. We know people who were Epstein victims who were very young. Todd Blanche asks, even women over the age of 18, if Epstein encouraged these men or whomever to get massages and have inappropriate sexual contact with them, that's a separate issue, maybe slightly nuanced. But did you ever know him to do that? Did you ever see Epstein get some other person to get a erotic massage from one of his masseuses? Maxwell says, no, never did. Absolutely myself. I never heard him ask someone. I never heard that. No one, the entire time I was with him or friends with him or had anyone, no one ever reported to me or came to me and said that anything inappropriate happened or was upset by. I never saw a tear. I never saw any of that. Very this reminds me of the Catholic Church scandal, No, never heard anything. There was no one cried. No one cried, so how could there have been abuse going on? And when you say no one reported to me, you mean the masseuses? Never. Or any of the house staff? Never. It's so infuriating. It's crazy because one thing with Virginia Giuffre was that she was really hopeful that she could talk to some of the house staff, like the maid or the chef or, and because she was we were walking around the house naked. We were children walking around naked and they saw us. They would have conversations with us naked. They knew what was happening. And all of them are no, I never saw any of that. Wow, really? That's crazy. I was just cooking food or whatever. But this is the same excuse I've seen. Everyone fucking says, I didn't see any of it. Really? Wow. It's not believable from anyone, but it's especially not believable from Ghislaine here. This is again part of Ghislaine's new thing. She doesn't think that. She's no, he only started doing it in the 2000s. And do you know why? It's one person's fault. So here's the accusation. Somebody earlier was asking, does she make any accusations? She does. So here's who she said is to blame for everything bad that Epstein ever did. Here's whose fault it is. I think because in December of 2001, he met, name redacted, but we know who this is. I'll get to it in a second. And I think name redacted was responsible for that in its entirety. This person was responsible for Jeffrey Epstein becoming bad. And the reason I believe that, she was a self-confessed having been sexually abused as a young girl. So first of all, what a fucked up way to say that. Self-confess is as if that's a confession. Doesn't a confession mean you've done something bad? Being a victim of sexual abuse. I don't know. The way she says it's self-confessed. She admitted it herself that she was sexually abused as a young girl and was trained, her words I'm quoting now, in all the arts of whatever that is, the sex program by a man called Ron Eppinger. So they bleep out this person's name, but they do not bleep out anybody else involved in her story. Extremely simple to figure out who this is. Who was her pimp from when she was 14, I believe, or 15? I don't know. And then everyone who came subsequent to, or simultaneously, if she wasn't the first, I don't know. Every single person who came to his house, came through, whoever, they bleep out her name and her boyfriend, Tony, and then whoever else underneath her. And that is how it started. So before her, Tony Figuera. Tony Figuera is her, and then actually, this is her fucking lawyer who pipes in with this. Tony Figuera, sorry. I was meaning to say his last name too, because I do want to fuck up his whole life here. So this is, anybody know? I'm sure somebody in here knows, and I think that there's a bit of a delay in the chat, so I won't wait. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who this is. This is Virginia Giuffre. This is the woman without whom we would know almost nothing about Jeffrey Epstein. Or Ghislaine Maxwell. This is a person who sued and was sued by Alan Dershowitz, Prince Andrew, and Ghislaine Maxwell, and who was able to, yes, you call it, Virginia. This person dragged them into court incredibly bravely, fought against all of these elite fucking billionaire royal family pedophiles, and produced photos and evidence and named names and went to bat and just constantly spoke to journalists, did whatever she could to get the message out. This person who passed away by an apparent suicide a few months ago, just recently deceased. This person who Bill Clinton lied about in his book, verifiably lied about in his book. Now, Maxwell is saying that Virginia is this, by the way, at the time she was underage. She was, I forget, 16 or 17 in 2001 when she met Epstein. And apparently it was her bad influence who was like, hey, Epstein, have you ever thought about being a pedophile? I recommend it, and I'm going to help you do it. And me and my boyfriend, Tony, are going to find girls for you to abuse. This is an insane framing of reality. Absolutely insane. Completely crazy. But like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know like victim blaming is like this sort of thing happens all the time. This is the most unhinged, like crazy version of that I have ever seen, right? This is so nuts. Whose fault was it that Epstein was a pedophile? It was Virginia Giuffre's. That is what she's saying here. Crazy. Sorry, I get a little worked up here. I have a lot of respect for Virginia, and I think this is like fucking unbelievable move. It's not even just like, and you see her lawyers helping her through it, like Leah Safian, and like keeping her on track and make sure you mention this. This is part of it too. And it's just like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is it's just so disrespectful. The way that Ghislaine is trying to shape Ghislaine's insane spin. How Ghislaine thinks that everything happened here. Epstein used to be nice in the 90s, and then in 2001, when he met Virginia, she made him evil. I know we're talking about a decade-long period, but during the period we're talking about, a 7-day week, how often would Epstein get a massage? In the 90s, when we're talking, he would get one every day. I think as that time progressed, he'd get one, maybe twice a day. And this doesn't match with testimony. It seems that he was getting like 3 every day. 3 erotic massages a day. I do want to say that there was maybe a reason that things altered or morphed or progressed. It is maybe part of the reason also that I'll do the accent. He and our relationship, or somebody wants to call it, altered. He started doing testosterone, and that altered his character. And I believe he started in the late 90s. I believe the FBI has his medical records, and you may see that on his medical records. So that is why he became a pedophile. He started doing testosterone in the 90s. Todd Blanche. So you believe that he started taking testosterone in the 90s, and when you say he altered his behavior, you're saying it made him get more massages? Or was that just one part of what changed about him? Well, he became more aggressive. I see. And I think that he now I'm just imagining that the testosterone altered his desires or something. And it's like, dude, what? Okay. Ghislaine was asked about banking records. So this is interesting. And this part, if you want to see Todd Blanche stick to a point, not let Ghislaine get off topic. He keeps asking her. She keeps avoiding. He's like, no, don't avoid this. I want to know what the fuck is going on with this $30 million that Jeffrey Epstein sent you, because what you told us about what Jeffrey Epstein gave you does not make sense with that. What was that 30 million? So he goes like, it's totally something like 30 million. What was that money? What was that for? Well, first of all, I dispute the characterization that the money was sent to me. I believe I don't have a full recollection. I'm not even sure what they accused me of, but my belief is that money also contained money that was for a helicopter, for instance, that I never owned, and it was never mine. And in other words, money was sent to you that you then used to purchase things. Well, I'm not even sure that I purchased it. So those accounts will be controlled by his accountants. And Todd Blanche, even accounts in your name, you're saying, or one of your entities. Well, I'm not even sure I knew all the entities. Maybe I did contemporaneously, but I just simply wouldn't know. But this is a little bit different though, because they're saying $30 million went into your account. It didn't go into like the Ghislaine Corporation or whatever. It went into your account. So it goes on, and Ghislaine keeps trying to get off topic, and he just won't let her. I was doing really, really well. And so he was like, how do you do that? She's talking about the stock market. She made a bunch of money in the stock market, apparently. And he was like, how do you do that? Well, what are you investing in? I don't know. Apple, when nobody liked Apple. This is, before Apple or Microsoft. I didn't know Bill Gates. This is not related to him. And then David Marcus, her lawyer, don't charge her with insider training. Ghislaine Maxwell, please, no, I'm not trying to suggest that. Oh, goodness, please, no. I had no... David Marcus, it was just a joke. Ghislaine, okay. Todd Blanche, it was a joke? Ghislaine, yeah, no, all right. Weird joke. When there is testimony or the government admitted evidence that showed, for example, $5 million in 2002 coming from Epstein to you. So again, he's still on this. What you're saying is that, that may have happened, but that he wasn't giving you money. It doesn't even make sense. Ghislaine, I'm not going to say that for everything, because maybe there were accounts that money was sent to me, but I can say that I know, like the helicopter, I can definitely say. I have to look at all of them to be accurate for you. And that's millions of dollars. How much is a fucking helicopter? $30 million for a helicopter seems like too much. Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's great. That's a great point, DM Collins. Even if Maxwell wants to say Virginia Giuffre is a total liar. Yeah, in September 2002, she paid for her to fly to Thailand to go to a massage school. That is how she escaped. Right? Massage school? I think she was going to massage school and she was going to recruit someone from there. Todd Blanche is trying to figure this out. And he's like, so when he financed stuff with you, would he send money to you? I believe, well, I think it does. For instance, there were two gull-wing Mercedes that they did with Mercedes and Aston Martin. You can look it up, I think, if I'm... So, okay. So the government had evidence that even as late as 2007, he paid you a lot of money. 2007, it's like when he got out of jail. What was that? What was the money? Like several millions of dollars in 2007. 7.4 million, I think. And what was that for? Was that the helicopter? Todd, that's my question for you. Oh, sorry. Like, he's like, oh, and why did he do that? What did I spend that on? Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, Ghislaine. So you'd have to trace that, right? So you don't believe that came into my account or I had any control. I had no memory of that. I have no. But if there's records that show it coming into your account, it sounds like what you're saying is that not putting aside you have no memory of that money being yours. No. Like you didn't, that money is not somewhere. No, I wouldn't be like, oh, yippee, let me go. I've got $7 million going to go buy myself a yacht. No, I don't know, something else or move it to some other. No. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think if, and you can tell I'm like cutting out big sections here. Like I'm just kind of putting in to give you a sense here. They're still talking about this $7 million. Oh, $7 million in when? What year? Well, those several years. In 2007 and 2002, there was $5 million you were paid in 2002. Oh, well, I don't remember, but okay. So there'd have to be another large sum, but it wouldn't come from him later. But had nothing to do. Well, the biggest one was in 1999. That's over 18 million. I don't know what that is. Really? You don't remember any of this? So what? But what you're saying, it sounds like if you don't know, we can move on. But we're talking about 18.3 million in 99, 5 million 3 years later in 2002, 7.4 million in 2007. That money adds up to around $30 million. You were not paid that by Mr. Epstein, meaning that's not money you received for your benefit, even if it was put into your accounts. I don't believe any of that was my money. Like if somebody asked me, like, what's this like $7 million that you got last year? I wouldn't be like, I don't believe. I'd be like, I definitely did not get that. I have not got $7 million my entire life. That is not something that I got. But she's just like, no, I don't think so. $30 million doesn't ring a bell. What? So she's still not really answering. But this is by far the longest he grills her. This is the only time really that he kind of is grilling her on anything. What I'm trying to make sure I understand is that the idea that you were paid $30 million between 1999 and 2007 in order by Mr. Epstein to reward you for recruiting young women, that is you're saying that is categorically completely false. That is categorically false, correct. So he's sort of leading her. He's like, okay, I guess this was a good answer to this for you. But all right, here's a thing where Todd Blanche just doesn't know the Epstein story. He just doesn't know what's up. He's seen a couple like conspiracy theory memes, or he's watched like an Alex Jones episode or something, but he doesn't actually know anything about this. I just include this because I personally find Terramar shit hilarious. Terramar, if you're unfamiliar, is Ghislaine Maxwell's weird organization that the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation was giving her tons of money to do. But what the fuck is Terramar? Well, I have never understood it. It's never made sense to me. It's never, I've listened to Ghislaine try to explain it many times. Here's another time that she's explaining it. So let's see if this is the time that we get it. So I just want to explain Terramar a little bit. So she goes on a little thing about how she got the idea. She was traveling the world with her husband, Ted Waite. Ted Waite was a multi-billionaire. He had everything. He was way, way more wealthy than Epstein, if anyone cares. Like, what a weird thing to say. He was above, by the way, you think Epstein was rich? Epstein was very broke compared to my next boyfriend, Ted Waite. She got the idea from just seeing the oceans and being like, and I realized I really wanted to protect the ocean. And then this part was the part where I was like, what? So she goes, so this is after she broke up with this guy, Ted Waite. So I wanted not to clash with anything to do with Ted because it was a bit awkward between us. So he took all the part of the ocean that was close to the land, so within 200 miles. And so I decided I would focus on all the parts of the ocean that were outside of national borders. Terramar. And that's the genesis of Terramar. So, okay, sounds like her and her ex-boyfriend split custody of the ocean, got all of the parts of the ocean that are still subject to the laws of nations, and she got all the international waters parts of the ocean. I have always suspected, I always am like trying to read between the lines here, And I'm always like, it really seems like Guylaine is trying to do some like harebrained scheme that's like a sea study, like even more harebrained than regular sea studying, like Peter Thiel shit, where they want to just build an island that's made of like boats out in the middle of the ocean and like we can do whatever we want here. It's a libertarian paradise. That's how I feel like Guylaine's Terramar thing is, except she wants it to be an actual country and she wants to have a passport and she wants to like when she was arrested, they were like, how many passports do you have? Like, well, you're a citizen of America. You're a citizen of this. You're a citizen of that. And like, she's like, yes, America and France and Terramar and also Sweden or something. Now, I realize I'm doing this whole thing where I'm reading all of her excuses and I'm not really showing you like how guilty is Guylaine. How guilty is Guylaine? Well, here's a photo of her on Little St. James Island in 2006. This is after the time that she said she was not at all involved in this interview. This is the whole Epstein saga. This is maybe one of the most chilling quotes. This is from a woman who knew Guylaine and would talk to her about, and it was sort of known what was going on with these girls. A source close to Maxwell says she spoke glibly and confidently about getting girls to sexually service Epstein, saying this was simply what he wanted. This isn't even a victim of Epstein. This is like a high society, like, friend of Guylaine's, and describing the way she'd drive around to spas and trailer parks in Florida to recruit them. She would claim she had a phone job for them, and you'll make lots of money, you'll meet everyone, and I'll change your life. The source continues, Guylaine was in love with Jeffrey the way she was in love with her father. Maxwell had one other thing to tell this woman. When I asked what she thought of the underage girls, she looked at me and said, they're nothing, these girls. They are trash.